Buffalo, we have a problem, and it's the good kind. Bills training camp just hit its fifth day, and things officially got physical. The pads came on, the gloves came off, and by the end of practice, two men had turned a routine Tuesday into the talk of Bills Mafia. Grab your coffee, folks, because this one's got a little bit of everything. Bombs down the field, rookies with attitude, a kicker playing hide-and-seek, and a scuffle-filled practice that had everybody buzzing before the sun even set. Let's set the scene. This was the first time all camp that the Buffalo Bills strapped on full pads for an entire practice, start to finish. The day before, they'd flirted with it, tossing the shoulder pads on for part of the session. But today, full armor, all day. And if you know anything about football, you know what that means. When players go from shorts and jerseys to full pads, something primal kicks in. Contact becomes real, territory gets contested, and tempers inevitably start to fray. Sure enough, the sparks started flying almost immediately. Scuffle after scuffle broke out across the field with names like T.J. Parker, Caleb Lomax, and Alec Anderson right in the thick of the chippiness. Now, before you panic and think the locker room is falling apart, relax. This is completely normal. Every player asked about it afterward gave some version of the same answer. That's just football. And honestly, they're right. When grown men in full pads start hitting each other for the first time in months, a little chest bumping and jersey grabbing comes with the territory. It's a sign of competitive fire, not dysfunction. But buried inside all that chaos were two performances that deserve their own highlight reel. One from the offense, one from the defense, and together they might just be the story of the entire camp so far. Let's start with the man everyone in Buffalo has been dying to talk about, wide receiver DJ Moore. The chemistry between Josh Allen and DJ Moore has been quietly building all camp, and on this particular Tuesday, it fully arrived. From the very first one-on-one reps, Moore looked like a problem nobody had a real answer for. He squared off against the Bills' top two press corners, Christian Benford and rookie standout Damon Igbinosun, and treated both of them like training dummies. Against Benford, Moore sold a quick slant with a release so clean it should be studied in film school. He squared the corner up in his very first steps, juked outside, snapped back across Benford's face, and by the time the ball arrived, there wasn't a defender within shouting distance. Against Igbinosun, it was even more one-sided. On a simple comeback route, Moore toyed with him, and we mean toyed. The rookie corner was hanging on for dear life while Moore looked like he was running routes against air. This is a man with elite play strength, silky route running, and the kind of physicality that lets him win even when the coverage is technically good. And then came the moment that's already flooding every Bills social media account, the 55-yard touchdown bomb. It happened early in the team portion of practice, maybe the second or third play. Josh Allen dropped back and launched a moonshot down the middle of the field, right into a phone booth of defenders. Not one, not two, but three Bills defenders, Max Hairston, Cole Bishop, and Christian Benford, were all draped around DJ Moore as the ball came down. On paper, that's a defended pass. In reality, DJ Moore tracked that football like a center fielder chasing a routine fly ball, staying perfectly patient and refusing to tip off the coverage. He kept his hands down until the very last possible instant, exactly the kind of disciplined ball tracking that separates good receivers from great ones, then snapped his hands up, snagged the ball dead center over his head, and held on even as Max Hairston tried to rip it away. Touchdown, 55 yards, chaos in the stands. If you haven't seen the clip yet, do yourself a favor and go find it, because it might be the single best highlight of Bills camp so far. And it's fair to say Buffalo fans should be very, very excited about what this Allen to Moore connection is building toward this season. Now let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball, where a rookie is quickly making it impossible to keep him off the field. Fourth-round linebacker Caleb Lomax out of TCU has been a name to watch all offseason, and Tuesday was the kind of practice that validates every bit of that hype. In one-on-one coverage drills against running backs, Lomax lined up against James Cook and then Ty Johnson, two players known for their speed and ability to separate out of the backfield. And in both reps, Lomax ran stride for stride down the field, refusing to allow a single completion. This isn't just a big physical linebacker, the guy can flat-out run. Verified sub 4.5 speed lets him stay in phase with skill players who would eat most linebackers alive in coverage. But it was in the team portion where Lomax's presence really jumped off the field. First, he read a screen pass to Ty Johnson before it even developed, blowing it up for what looked like a clear tackle for loss, and he celebrated like he just won the Super Bowl. Fists pumping, fired up in a way that had teammates and onlookers buzzing. Then, on a play involving tight end Dalton Kincaid, Lomax came downhill with serious aggression. A hit that ended up igniting one of the day's scuffles. Say what you want about the chippiness, but that's exactly the kind of edge you want from a young linebacker trying to earn snaps. After practice, Lomax spoke to reporters, and even that told you something about who he is. He reportedly brushed off one interview request mid-practice to go do extra individual work first, priorities in order. When asked who he's leaned on most since being drafted, he didn't name one of the veteran linebackers on the roster. He named the position coach, Jim Salgado. That's a rookie who's locked in on craft, not just making friends. Between the size, the speed, the physicality, and the intensity, it feels less like a question of if Caleb Lomax earns a starting inside linebacker job, and more a question of when. Of course, DJ Moore and Caleb Lomax weren't the only storylines. The one-on-one battles across the field told plenty of smaller tales. Rookie corner Damon Igbinosun showed real flashes in press coverage, smothering some receivers early, but got exposed when guys could get a clean release, thanks to his lean, narrow frame. Max Hairston went up against big-bodied receiver Keon Coleman 4 separate times, and while his coverage was tight every rep, Coleman's size and physicality won out at the catch point again and again. On the offensive line, Ed Oliver and guard Alec Anderson put on a personal show, trading a stuffed bull rush and a slick counter-rip move in what's shaping up to be one of camp's most entertaining rivalries. Meanwhile, veteran center Lloyd Cushenberry continues to raise eyebrows for the wrong reasons, getting beaten in multiple one-on-ones and looking like a shell of the player Buffalo remembers from his LSU and Denver days. There were injury notes, too. CJ Gardner-Johnson, nursing a calf strain, was seen doing light conditioning work on the side, but looked locked into the defense mentally, shadowing plays from the sideline like he was still out there. Rookie Deion Walker picked up an elbow injury and got fitted for a brace with hopes of returning Thursday. And running back Ray Davis gave fans a brief scare after going down hard on a handoff, but after a trip to the medical tent and some ankle tape, he was back catching punts before practice ended. And then there's the punter drama. Rookie punter Tommy Doman has been absolutely booming the ball in camp, showing serious leg strength, hang time, and control, enough to make Bills fans wonder if the punter search is finally mercifully over. But the real mystery of camp remains kicker Tyler Bass. Through 5 full days of training camp, Bass has not attempted a single kick in front of fans or media. Not one. Special teams coach Jeff Rogers offered a handful of explanations: limited practice time, working with 2 holders, field goal protection not yet being drilled in full pads. Reasonable on paper. But here's the thing, he's the team's only kicker on the roster, in an NFL training camp 5 days deep, and he hasn't kicked once. Something doesn't add up, and Bills Mafia has every right to raise an eyebrow. Eventually, the guy has to actually kick a football in front of somebody. Until he does, expect the speculation to keep building. So there you have it. A training camp practice that had big touchdowns, bigger hits, a rookie linebacker announcing his arrival, and a kicker situation that's raising more questions than answers. Buffalo's got real juice heading into this season, but as always, the devil is in the details, and training camp is where those details get sorted out. If this breakdown got you fired up for the season, smash that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Drop a comment down below and let us know, are you buying the DJ Moore hype train yet? And what's your theory on the Tyler Bass situation? And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because we'll be back with fresh training camp coverage all week long. Until next time, Bills Mafia, let's go get that trophy.